in a village nestled between the mouth of a river and the breast of the ocean, where the wind sang songs through palm leaves and the sun kissed the water with golden affection, lived a man named Jabari. Not a king, not a warrior, just a fisherman. Now, in African tradition, tales like this are told not just to entertain, but to guide, to warn, and to inspire. This tale was passed to me by my grandmother and her grandmother before her. So lean in, breathe deep, and listen closely. For the ocean has secrets, and tonight, one of them will speak. What if one single object could grant you everything you ever dreamed of? Wealth, power, respect, even love. But what if that very object could also take it all away? Let me tell you a story. A story born under the stars of West Africa, whispered from elders beneath the baobab tree, carried by wind and wave across time. This is the story of the fisherman and the magic gourd. Jabari was a man of quiet strength. He had skin dark as fertile soil and eyes that mirrored the sea calm on the surface, but filled with depth. He rose with the dawn, casting his nets. Before the sun touched the sky, singing to the waves like his ancestors did. Though he had little, Jabari was rich in soul. His hands were calloused, his shoulders worn, but his heart. Oh, his heart was wide as the ocean he fished. He lived in a small hut woven from palm fronds and clay, tucked just beside a line of singing trees. There, his family waited each day. For his return, his wife Naima, whose laugh was music, though her body had grown weak from sickness. His mother, Ya, wise but aging. And his daughter, Ayana, spirited girl with big dreams and bare feet, always asking questions. The village of Kasiwa was vibrant yet humble. Children played barefoot in red sand. Women braided each other's hair beneath mango trees. And elders told stories in the shade. Fish was life without it. There was hunger. Without the ocean, there was no tomorrow. But lately, the fish had grown scarce. Each morning, Jabari returned with fewer catches. The ocean, once generous, had become silent. Nets came back empty. Bellies grew hollow. Hope began to fade. Still, Jabari endured. For family, for tradition. For faith, one evening, Jabari stood by the water after his failed catch. The sky above was a swirl of indigo and fire. As the tide pulled away, something caught his eye: an old woman, sitting on a rock, barefoot, hair white as salt. Eyes sharp as a falcon's. She beckoned him with a crooked finger. "Old woman, you seek what the sea no longer gives." Jabari hesitated. "Who are you?" She smiled, revealing teeth like old ivory. "Names have power. I've had many. But you must listen. For the sea has watched you. It has chosen you." She handed him a shell dull and cracked. That old woman. "Tonight, you will dream. When you wake, remember the shape of your hunger. But beware, Jabari. What you ask, you may not be ready to receive." She vanished like mist on the tide. That night, Jabari dreamed of the ocean glowing like fire, waves rising high, fish leaping into his boat. And in the center of it, all a gourd, spinning, singing, glowing. Voices echoed, "Take, but give. Rise, but remember. Ask, but pay." He awoke with sweat on his brow and the shell clutched tightly in his hand. The old woman's words throbbed in his ears. His heart raced. The next day, clouds swallowed the sky. Yet Jabari set out to sea. The wind howled. The waves crashed. But something pulled him forward, into the heart of the storm. His boat rocked, then overturned. Salt filled his lungs. Darkness claimed him, just as all hope was lost. A warm glow pierced the storm. There, floating above the water like a lantern in the sky, was the gourd. Last we met, Jabari was caught in a storm. His boat shattered, his hope sinking fast. But then, as the waves towered and darkness crept close, a warm glow emerged. A floating light in the chaos. A gourd shining, humming, impossible. And that was just the beginning. The gourd hovered just above the water surface, spinning slowly, radiating gold and violet light like a second sun born from the sea. As Jabari floated, dazed and breathless, the gourd drifted closer, humming softly. Without thinking, he reached for it. The moment his fingers brushed the warm wooden skin of the gourd, the ocean calmed. The waves parted like they knew him. The wind died. And suddenly, he was not in the sea anymore, but in silence. A voice echoed not in his ears, but in his heart. The sea gave birth to me, and now I choose you. Then a flash. Jabari woke on the beach, soaked, coughing, the gourd lying beside him, still glowing faintly. That night, Jabari placed the gourd on his hut's floor. His family, worried sick, listened as he described the storm and the miracle. Naima, weak but sharp-eyed, watched the gourd with suspicion. A gift from the sea, or a test from the spirits? She whispered. Curious Jabari made a quiet wish. If you're real, let there be fish. He blinked. The hut filled with the scent of salt and scales. Fish fresh, plump, and shimmering appeared in a neat pile beside the gourd. Gasps filled the room. His daughter Ayana danced with joy. His mother crossed herself and muttered a prayer. Naima smiled, though her eyes stayed wary. Soon, Jabari's fortunes turned. Every wish whispered to the gourd came true. Fish overflowed his boat. Nima's health improved. The house grew stronger. His daughter had books and dresses and dreams bigger than ever before. But Jabari did not grow greedy. Not yet. He shared his bounty, fed the hungry, repaired the village well, built a new school hut. People began to speak his name with reverence. Jabari the Blessed, but fame is a shadow. It follows even when you turn away. One night, Jabari sat alone. The gourd pulsed softly beside him. He asked, "Why me?" The gourd answered in riddles. You give, you rise. You take, you fall. When greed awakes, I shall call. Jabari frowned. Greed. I have no greed. But the gourd stayed silent. From that night, Jabari kept the gourd hidden. Only his family knew. Or so he thought. Word spread, as it always does. A cousin Duma, man sharp in words, but hollow in spirit, grew curious. He watched Jabari from afar, noticed how his nets never emptied, how his family glowed with health, how his daughter wore cloth no others could afford. One evening, Duma confronted Jabari at the well. Tell me, cousin, what gods have you pleased to earn such luck? Jabari forced a laugh. No gods, just hard work. But Duma's eyes lingered on Jabari's pouch. He'd seen something glow, and he would not forget it. That night, Jabari dreamt again. This time, he stood in a forest of coral. Shadows swirled. The old woman from the shore appeared, her eyes glowing like fireflies. The gourd tests all it touches. Its magic feeds both light and shadow. Keep balance, or it will tip. Jabari awoke in a cold sweat. He looked at the gourd. It no longer glowed gold, but red. The gourd's golden glow has turned red. The ocean's gift is beginning to change. Jabari, once the humble fisherman, now walks the edge between miracle and mistake. This is the beginning of the test. Days passed, but Jabari couldn't shake. The dream ore, the gourd's new hue. It pulsed in the corner of his hut like a beating heart. It still granted wishes, but each one came with hesitation, doubt, fear. He began to wonder, was the magic tied to his will? Or was it watching him, learning him? Naima noticed the change. You're restless, she said. The gourd grants more than fish now. But does it still give without taking? Jabari couldn't answer. It was nearly time for the festival of winds, a celebration of the village's founding. Dancers rehearsed. Drums echoed. Traders arrived with spices and cloths. Duma returned too, with a smile too sharp and eyes too knowing. He'd brought foreign guestmen in tall boots and trimmed beards who carried gold and maps. We seek opportunity. One said to Jabari, "Your waters are rich, your land promising." Jabari declined politely. Duma whispered in his ear, "You could be more than a fisherman, cousin. More than a village hero. Imagine a port named after you. A fleet, a city." Jabari said nothing. But that night, he sat before the gourd and whispered, "What if I wanted more?" The next morning, Jabari found a pouch of gold by his door. He hadn't asked for gold. He confronted the gourd. "I made no wish, but you desired, and I served desire." Now Jabari knew. The gourd no longer waited for wishes. It responded to want. And want, he realized, was dangerous. Meanwhile, Duma plotted. He bribed a village boy to spy. He watched Jabari's every move. One night, when Jabari was away, Duma crept into the hut. The gourd sat alone, glowing a deep crimson. Duma reached for it, but the gourd flashed. A shock of force knocked him back, searing his palm. The boy ran. Naima woke, furious. "Spirits curse thieves," she hissed. But the damage was done. Duma had seen enough. He spread whispers. Jabari communes with dark spirits. His fortune is witchcraft? The village, once grateful, grew suspicious. Soon Jabari felt eyes on him. Children no longer ran to greet him. Neighbors grew quiet when he approached. A friend refused his gift of fish. He begged the gourd, "Fix this, please." But the gourd now flickered. "You rise. Now you learn." Jabari began to dream again visions of fire, of a village in ruin, of Ayana crying, "You promised we'd be safe." He woke in tears. Naima took his hand. "You must choose the gourd or your soul." Jabari's world is unraveling. The magic that once fed his family and healed his wife now glows with hunger. His village doubts him. His soul grows heavy. But the gourd is not done. Jabari tried to stop. He locked the gourd in a wooden chest, buried it beneath his floorboards, and told Naima no more. But dreams still came. The gourd called to him in whispers only he could hear. They feared what they could not take. Give them more. Show them power. And then Niana fell ill. No healer could help her. No herb, no prayer. Niema sobbed at her bedside. Jabari's hands trembled. He dug through the floor and clutched the gourd. "Please," he begged. Safer, the gourd pulsed. Red turned to silver. Ayana's fever broke. Her eyes fluttered open. She smiled. But outside, the wind howled. A storm formed on the sea. Lightning touched the horizon. The cost had begun as Ayana recovered. The ocean boiled. Boats sank. Nets tore. The shore flooded. Crops wilted. People whispered. It began when Jabari's daughter awoke. They marched to his door, demanding answers. Jabari stood tall but weary. "I saved her life. Would you not do the same?" An elder stepped forward. "There are things man must never control. This magic, this gourdet, is too much." And then Duma arrived with foreign ships. Duma offered a choice to the village. Join him. Let the foreigners build docks and trade houses or sink with Jabari. Some cheered. Some wept. Jabari confronted Duma. "We are brothers in blood. And yet, only one of us has bled for the future." Jabari turned to the people. "You followed me when fish filled your nets. You trusted me when bellies were full. Do not forget where this began. But fear outweighed memory. That night, Naima packed a bag. We leave, we return to fishing. To simplicity, we can start again. But Jabari shook his head. The gourd won't allow peace. Not while I live. He took it to the sea in a canoe. Under the storm's eye, he rowed to the place where he first found it. The gourd pulsed wildly. You are mine. I chose you. Then I choose to end this. He whispered his final wish. Let the world forget you. Let your magic end with me. And with that, he let go. The gourd sank. The sea calmed. Lightning stopped. The sky cleared. Jabar, I washed ashore once more. Exhausted, empty, but Naima and Ayana were waiting. The village, silent, but in time, they returned. Not with offerings, but with silence. Then nods, then help rebuilding. Dumas' foreign friends found no riches and soon left. The port dream faded, and Jabari fished with nets, not wishes. And when children asked about the gourd, he smiled gently. Magic is a mirror. It gives you what's inside. Make sure you like what you see. You thought it was over? The gourd sunk. The sea calmed. The people moved on. But stories real, stories never end with silence. Magic leaves, echoes, and some echoes refuse to die. Years passed. Jabari aged, his hair now dusted with gray. Ayana grew into a bold, curious girl who climbed trees, mended nets, and sometimes stared at the sea, as if listening. One day, she asked, Baba, did the gourd truly vanish? Jabari nodded. Kaya, Ayana frowned. What if it didn't let go of us? That night, Jabari dreamed again. Waves spoke. The gourd pulsed beneath the water. It hadn't died. It had. Waited a traveler arrived. Dressed in coastal merchant robes, skin salted by the sea, eyes too bright to be ordinary. He called himself Cal. He asked of legends, of magic, of Jabari. Ayana was intrigued. She followed him. Listened to KWE told stories of gourds found across distant coasts, all glowing, all waking. Jabar, I warned him. Magic is never free. But Cal smiled. Then maybe it's time we paid what we owe. One dawn, Ayana vanished. She left only a note. I need to know what remains beneath the sea. Jabari's heart shattered. He blamed himself. He followed the shore, searched islands, prayed, until he saw a light beneath the water. He dove, deeper than ever. And there she was, Yana cradling a faintly glowing shell. Not red, not gold, but green dot. It wasn't the same gourd, but it was born from its remains. It didn't speak. It pulsed gently, healed a broken fish fin when Ayana held it. It made dead coral bloom, soothed. And Ayana said, Ayana. It's not a curse, Baba. Not anymore. Not if we teach it love before power. Jabari returned with Ayana and the green gourd. He built a shrine not of worship, but of warning and wisdom. The village gathered. This time, there was no fear. Jabari spoke. We once used magic to feed ourselves. Then we tried to feed our pride. Now, let it feed the future, not with greed, but with care. And so, the magic lived again, not in one man, but in many hands. Shared, respected, balanced, the sea approved. The winds calmed, and from that day on, the village told a new story. The fisherman who let go, and the daughter who listened. Asterisk, asterisk, magic changes. People grow, stories evolve, but always, always, it is choice that drives them. You've heard the tale of the fisherman and the magic gourd. But remember, when your hands find power, ask not what it can give. ask what you will become. Thank you for walking this story with us. Until next time, listeners, stay curious. And so, the tale of Jabari and the Magic Gourd ends not in glory, nor in ruin, but in balance. The ocean gives and takes, but the greatest power is not in magic. It is in choice. So when you hear whispers of glowing gourds on distant shores, remember, it is not the gift that defines the man, but what he does with it. This was the story of the fisherman and the magic gourd. Thank you for listening.